Welcome back, everybody, to the From the Bench podcast. We are on episode 17 of this thing, where we talk about sports, and really, we're starting to get into the point that we actually have live sports coming up. Baseball's back. Well, for now, we'll talk about that in a bit. We got NFL. They're trying to plan out what they're going to do. The NHL, it's coming. It's only a couple days away now. Coming up this weekend. We have a new
Try a day.
yeah.
With the Leafs play tomorrow, 28th.
Well, yeah, but
Against the Habs.
that's
Think
not,
exhibition. It doesn't even matter.
yeah, exhibition doesn't matter. It's hard to get pumped up about exhibition. That's even the NBA right now. It's like, they're games, but they don't really count. They don't really matter. We got some NFL news, though, like I said, with a trade, a big one, a guy that's been trying to get out of his situation now for a while. We got two big contracts going out, a couple other little things we're going to talk about. Like I said, new team in the NHL. We're about to get back to business, but Seattle, they got their team. MLB, like I said, we'll touch on that and all the craziness that's going to go on there, whether they actually continue to have a season. And we're going to talk about my favorite, lacrosse. We're just going to touch on it. Trevor hasn't watched a single game. He has no idea, but I just want to give a little blurb at the end of it about the PLL and the great job that they're doing. So to start, though, we always do this. How's work going, Trevor? Not the whiskey.
Well,
like, how's actual work?
the
work is making the whiskey come. The work's making the whiskey come out of you.
A little bit, yeah. It's been hectic. It's the weather's cooperating. We're working lots. We got some more jobs, so there's a lot of relief. They're hiring like mad. It's a little later than usual, but it's happening. And so we're right to the max. So I'm job hopping. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
So I left one job. I'm going to another job tomorrow for a couple of days. Then maybe I'll go back to the original one I'm on. Maybe I'll go to another one. Probably another one after that. Who knows? But the spirits are high. I'm almost through this month of July. We're going to go into August.
Yep.
So I'm coming home soon-ish.
Ish.
So that's exciting. So we'll see how it goes. I'm kind of taking it week by week. But anyways, we'll see what goes on.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that. That's
yourself.
That's
How's the housing building? How's the industry?
it's good.
How are you doing?
It's good. It's had a couple closings last week. Got a couple other stuff coming up. So it's just a little bit by little bit. I said knock it out one by one. Trying to enjoy it. Trevor's slowly trying to kill me because we are starting our recording. Right now is 12:59 a.m. By the way, because that is the next day. Trevor doesn't really know what time means. So
what does it all mean, Basil? What does it all mean?
Trevor told me the other day that we're going to record at like 8:30 his time, which, by the way, makes it 11:30 my time. Last 2 days, it's like, hey, 12:30. Hey, do you want to start recording soon?
They've been busy, long days at work. We've been working like extra. I don't want to talk about it. We've been sealing up the site, and we're running overtime. It's just,
Hey.
But anyways, it is what it is. I am kind of screwing Eric over, but it's like payback. So like when I'm actually home and I like want to go at like 7:30, we always start at like 10:30. Next thing you know, I'm like just dead. Like, you know what I mean? He's like, are you alive over there? You know how it goes. So don't listen to his I'm a victim BS, okay? I'm a victim, okay? Look how handsome I am.
Trevor was trying to tell everybody on his
Snapchat. I would pick this off in the morning.
Yeah, Trevor's trying to tell everybody on his Snapchat before this that I'll have the episode up tomorrow morning. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm going to bed after this. We'll be on here for the next hour and a half. And then it's 2:30 in the morning and then I get to go to bed. So, so the first topic though, like I said, we're going to go right to the NFL. Jamal Adams, this guy's been trying to get out of, the Jets now for a while. He's one of the top five safeties in the league. He's right there with all the other good guys. He's
up there.
He's hard hitting. He forces fumbles. He's a playmaker. He plays a lot down in the box too, but he has some coverage skills. And he hates Adam Gase, and he hates a bunch of the stuff.
Smart player. He does it well.
Yeah.
So what you're looking for.
So he's like, look, I want out. I don't want to deal with Adam Gase anymore. I don't want to deal with, all this shit. Everything that comes with the New York Jets franchise. I want out. And finally, they traded him. Not to a team that a lot of people thought. People had him going to other teams, but he ended up going to the Seattle Seahawks. So this is like version number two or three now of the Legion of Boom. Maybe he's going to kick off this new era of it. So they trade him and a fourth round pick in 2022 to Seattle, and in return, the Jets get a first round in 2021, a first round in 2022, a third round in 2021, and Bradley McDougald, which he's actually like a decent safety. He's not bad. He's not a superstar, but he's an NFL player essentially.
He's more than serviceable, though. We'll say,
Yeah,
he's a pretty good player.
So I don't know who do you think won the trade? I guess is the first thing we'll start off at.
I hate to say this, but I'm going to give a shout out to the new, I think it's Doug, I don't know his last name, but the new general manager that come over from Philadelphia, he, for the Jets, just killed it up on this. Clearly, people, with the haul they just got, it was not Adam, what is it, Gates or Goose or whatever the fuck his name is there, their coach?
Adam Gase. Yeah.
Gates. Oh, just not a good GM. But anyways, thank God, he's not a good coach either. Coordinator,
no.
Maybe.
He's out here looking like this at interviews. Like, for anybody watching on
just
YouTube.
Just out the lines. But he saved the acid for later. You know what I'm saying? I'm just kidding. But anyways, I want to say almost both teams benefit from this. Obviously, Seattle right now, they're contending. This helps them contend. Russell Wilson's arguably one of the studs right now for quarterback. He just does it all. This is going to help their defense out. And they got a lot of young talent on that side of the ball. And maybe even Clowney comes back for a year. He's still out there. People forget about that. So you never know.
He's one of the most, just to touch on that real quick, Clowney has to be one of the most overhyped, underproducing players of the last decade. Because he's had one good season. Other than that, he was injured for the first 2 years, and even the seasons in Seattle, he never had big sack totals or anything.
He had a lot of pressures, they call it now.
Yeah,
he didn't actually, like you just said, he didn't have the sacks. He had some. But.
He's not one of those guys. He's not a big name guy. They keep on trying to hype him up to be a big name guy, and I think whoever does his PR needs a raise because that guy is just, they keep on building him up to be this amazing guy, and. Yeah, he isn't there, so
his numbers do not back it up in the NFL. College, they totally do, but NFL,
college is ridiculous.
But if you can get 2 first rounds for a safety, a third, and you're giving back a fourth, and
you're getting a player,
I think you're doing pretty good. I think you're doing pretty good. So you plug that hole in with a player who's not just a piece; he's legit. He's pretty good. He's not like Eric said; he's not a superstar, but he's going to come in there. He's going to start for them day one, and he should be serviceable. Should be pretty good back there. Now. Mind you, he's not Adams, but that is, Jamal. Yeah, Adams.
Yeah.
So, but, just they're different states. New York is far from compete. People think they're going to compete this year. I don't think so much.
No.
I think they'll be there, but they're not going to be, above. I think it more than 8 wins. I think at 8 wins. That's a win for New York this year. That's what I think.
No,
but, I love it for them, though, right? 2 first. That's awesome.
Yeah, for the Jets, I think I'm with you on that. I think if you can get 2 firsts out of it and a third and a player, that's pretty good. I know the only thing so I think if anybody, and Jamal Adams, and it's going to work out better for, the Seattle Seahawks, especially right now. That's where you're going to really see it.
Exactly. They're pushing to win.
In the long run, I think, for the Jets, it's probably good. You don't have to pay that guy. What's he going to want? 15 million, 16 million, 20 million, coming up here, in the next 2 years.
Raise.
It's a huge money, right? So you're talking that for a guy that seems to be a little disgruntled, and maybe he has good reason to, right? Some people just call him a diva and everything else. Sometimes it's not the case. Sometimes it's just, look, the coach is an idiot.
They've been talking about trading him for what, 2 years now? Why do you want to trade him?
I think
that was one of their best picks in years.
Well, I think he came out and kind of was ruffling the feathers. I know also came out, though, that Le'Veon Bell, apparently Jamal Adams was one of the big guys that was trying to recruit him over there. So he now came out and said, hey, man, real cool that you, pitch for a guy to come here and get over here and everything else, and then you peace out, shows your true colors type of thing is kind of what Lev Bell came out and said. So those are some fighting words, and it's true. It's you can't have both ways, right? You can't say, the team is junk, the franchise is terrible, when you were just trying to recruit another guy, and you really changed life for somebody, right? You're telling them to come over here, you're going to build something, and then you peace out. That's not really the proper way to do it.
Hey, Bell, who are you kidding? You're making this.
He
The
is.
cheddar, son.
He
That's
is.
why you went there. That's why you sat out a season. Be
Oh,
real, homie.
that was
You're
so.
not about football anymore.
Yeah,
You're about this.
let's
Dollar bills.
I don't think Lev Bell has a whole lot of to stand on when it comes to morality and really helping the team when you sit out on a team and lose out on money essentially at the end of the day. So if we're gonna move on from the Adams thing, like I said, I think we're both it's a great trade for both sides. Not one it's not one of those trades. It's not like the Nugent Hopkins trade where you're like, holy crap, Arizona stole that trade. This is a pretty one where no matter what side you look at, you could pretty much say, yeah, look, I think they might have won that trade. So one of the guys that was another big name, and he got his contract extension, and that's Myles Garrett, the helmet swinging bandit. That is Myles Garrett. So he signs for 5 years.
Be remembered for that shit.
Man,
Forever.
just tried to kill Mason Rudolph. So 5 years, 125 million, 100 million guaranteed. That's a huge number. The guy gets suspended, and he's one of those guys that he's so good. He's so talented. He has all the tools. You see it every day as soon as you turn on the tape, right? You look at it. That guy has so much, but he does so much like stupid shit. Like I've never seen a guy that gets penalized.
Doesn't think in between here.
No, he gets
Sometimes.
so many like stupid roughing the passer penalties and like
Brain
shit like that.
farts, I like to call them.
Yeah, like just
Not
stuff
good.
that doesn't need to be done. Like yes, you're gonna get some roughing the passers, right? If you're literally rushing the
Especially
passer
now
that
with
much.
the rules. The rules are in the favor of the
yeah.
quarterback so much. You got to train your
100%.
body.
But him,
You're on
it's
100 miles per hour.
yeah, for him, it's not even close though. Like it's like the guy gets the ball out, and 3 seconds later he's hitting the guy for no freaking reason. Like
He does take some stupid ones. Totally agree with you.
like I said, and then he does the whole Mason Rudolph thing, and then comes back like 2 weeks later and says, well, he dropped the N bomb or something, which nobody else heard. And you wouldn't say that only 2 weeks after, to try to defend yourself. So it's one of those things. But he's a rich man, and Cleveland, isn't scared to try to keep that guy around. And how could you, right? How do you win games? You get after the quarterback, whether it's by committee, whether it's by a superstar like him or Joey Bosa or Von Miller or whoever you want to talk about. But I think it's a good contract. I think it's obviously a big one. You're talking $25 million a year, for this guy. It's not cheap. It makes me kind of worried as a Chargers fan that's going to have to re-sign Joey Bosa here soon, because Joey Bosa has better numbers than him, and he's going to want $25 million a year. Yeah.
Pay him now though, because you're not paying a quarterback.
Well, that's what works in our favor. So we have a quarterback that we signed for like $5 million a year as a rookie for 5 years. Pretty good. The next one is in the AFC West, and it is Chris Jones, the defensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, the Super Bowl champion Chris Jones. He signed for 4 years, $85 million with $60 million guaranteed. So he's not quite to that same level as what Myles Garrett got, but he is one of the most dominant defensive tackles in the league right now. Obviously, he's not on the same level as an Aaron Donald. There's a reason for that. The reason is
1A, 1B.
No. Aaron Donald is
sure.
1A, and then you have a bunch of guys that are going from like 2A to like 2E. It is what it is. But yeah, he's awesome. I said you can really tell. I think he missed some games last year, and when he was out, you could definitely tell that
was noticeable.
That line was missing some. So he's another big name though. Like I said, just see the big contracts coming out. It's good for defensive players. Obviously, they're not quarterback numbers, but at the end of the day,
he come out and said that him and Mahomes took less to stay there and win multiple championships. Love it. Take less, a little bit less. He's still getting paid, like Eric said. That's still a good chunk of change. He deserves it, man. Like when he's on the field, he leads that team. Him and the Honey Badger, they just do their thing, man. It starts up front and the back end. It's huge.
Did you see that Tyreek Hill thing? He said that they're chasing Jordan and they're trying to hit 7 championships.
Did you hear what Brady said? I hear you on 7.
Yeah,
that was awesome.
Yeah. It's
comical.
Because
he's already got 6.
Because he's got 6.
Suck it.
Fucking guy. So No, like I said, Tyreek Hill just boils my blood. Because that guy just is an absolute piece of fucking garbage, and as a human being, and people love him for whatever reason. He gets the screen time. And speaking of him, so it's come out. Trevor doesn't even know about this, but it's come out lately
Sweet.
that he was rated higher, and so is Mike Evans and Chris Godwin from one of my favorite receivers, and it's because he's on my team, Keenan Allen. And Keenan Allen came
You
out and said,
know,
"Look, I'm not being quiet anymore. You know what? It's ridiculous that anybody has these guys rated higher than me in Madden or anything because I am a far better receiver than Tyreek Hill and Mike Evans and Chris Godwin." And know what? I agree with him. And because that guy is the best route runner in the league, you might be able to say,
one of,
yeah, you might be able to say
one of.
Devontae Adams, maybe Michael
Hopkins is up
Timans.
there. Hopkins is up there.
Hopkins is
Route
good, but
runner.
he's more of a catch radius kind of guy. But
He's a
he's
beauty.
yeah, and like you have Julio Jones, who Julio Jones is amazing too. But for the pure, and they even had him like I think Keenan came in at 77 this year in the NFL Top 100, and Keenan kind of said like you're watching the interviews and all a bunch of these safeties. You're talking some of the biggest safeties in the league, and they're all coming out. Like Stephon Gilmore came out and said like, yeah, he's number one A, 1B with Devontae Adams for route running in the league, and he knows he's good. And so they kind of had a back and forth with a couple people, and Mike Evans came out and said, I'm better than that. And I just wanted to get Trevor's input on if you had to have one of these four receivers, which one would you rather? So would you rather Keenan Allen, Mike Evans, Tyreek Hill, or Chris Godwin?
Well, I hate to say it, people, but Chris Godwin, he had a great year this year. He kind of showed a little potential the year before. So he's on his way. But just 1 year doesn't prove shit. You
No.
got to do it year after year in the NFL. That's why they call it the NFL, So, I like him a lot. No. Evans, you've been nothing but inconsistent, man. And your quarterback, I know he threw a lot of interceptions, but he was also throwing a lot of grenades, stay downfield. And where are you this year? You were hit and miss, buddy. So,
As a
no.
as a guy
Blame
that's
Keenan Allen, but
had as a guy that's had Mike Evans,
you can't
as a,
run in
as a
Evans. You can't run all the routes. Like you
no
don't go over the middle.
no
You don't cut across.
and I've had Mike
So
Evans as a fantasy receiver, and it's like
same here.
24 points, 6, 30 points, like 4, and I'm like, how?
And that's one of his good years.
Oh, so
So
I got into this with a bunch of people. Oh, I guess I gave you. What's your opinion on Tyreek Hill too? I guess.
I like Hill, but Hill's explosive. That's why people love him. But he still needs improvement, right? Like I think, but like he's a guy. If he can get the ball in his hands in space, his speed's just unreal. But it doesn't mean he's the best route runner. He's just freakishly fast. Like he's got pretty good hands, but I wouldn't say he's better than Keenan Allen.
No, and I think that's what Keenan came out and said, and he even said like, are some of these guys faster than me? Sure. Are they better receivers and better, route runners? Not a chance. And it's true. And so I was online, and once I said I like to give my opinion online once in a while. It happens
He
quite
likes
a
to get
bit.
chirped
Oh
and
yeah,
run over.
I love it.
Like a truck.
So some guys were saying, well, Keenan Allen, the problem with him is he's always injured. So Keenan Allen over the last 3 years.
Because he's over the middle.
Yeah, but over the last 3 years compared to these guys, he's missed 3 games over the past 3 seasons. Mike Evans has missed 4. Tyreek Hill has missed 7. And Goodwin has only started 21 games over the 3 years. And he was a
Yeah,
rookie.
that's what I mean.
you know,
He just got his start.
yeah,
He just
so which is
started off.
fine. And then another guy said, well, if that's correct, then why didn't he have better stats? Well, he did because Keenan Allen had 3,800 yards. Evans had 37, Godwin had 27, and Tyreek Hill has 35. So, yes, Tyreek Hill's missed a bunch of games. He's explosive. Don't get me wrong, but if you're talking just like a pure receiver that you want on your team, is Mike Evans gonna have as many yards this year with Tom Brady? He might not, right? You get Gronk there, you get all these other guys there.
Gronk's there.
And Brady's not out here chucking the ball like Jameis Winston, 40 yards downfield, throwing up for a deep, for a 50-50 ball. That's not Tom Brady's MO. That's not how Tom
They're
Brady
going to
plays.
his system, Haas.
Yeah, you
Well, I
know,
actually don't know what they're doing there. I don't know if there's going to be a combination. Probably a combination.
yeah, and I'm
A
sure
little
it
bit of
is,
both.
but he's not like a huge arm guy, right? Like that's just not
Not
Tom
anymore.
Brady's
No,
game. You know.
no, hasn't been for 5 years for sure.
So, anyways,
Not to say he can't heat a deep pass, but I'm just
no,
saying he just doesn't have the arm he used to.
no,
Fact.
it's just not like his arm's not a rubber band here where it's just like whipping out of there. But
The
I'm
guy's
just
what, 43
whatever.
roughly? I'm
Whatever
pretty
he is.
sure.
It's old as shit. Probably should retire. But anyways, I just wanted to come on here and say that I'm with Keenan Allen. That man is awesome. Like I said, you just watch his routes, and that guy just kills it. And he's such a technician, and he's so good. And I said, I wish he'd get more recognition. Obviously, he's not a Julio, and he's not as flashy, and he doesn't
No,
make.
but I
But
think the AFC for sure. Everybody in the AFC, they know about Keenan Allen. They
yeah,
know he's a stud. They
yeah,
know he's better than average.
yeah,
So just don't listen to the noise, homie.
yeah,
People like their flash. That's why they like Tyreek Hill because
yeah,
the guy goes deep. He's like Deshaun Jackson. When he was young,
yeah.
he used to hit him deep all the time. Well, Deshaun was pretty good too, but now he's kind of older and getting hurt a lot. God
Yeah.
bless you.
Yeah. He's another one that you're talking earlier about free agents. He's another one. He's just sitting back waiting for that next contract. Some people have even linked him to my Chargers, thinking that maybe they, pick him up as the third option. We got some rookie guys that they want to work in there too, but wait and see, I guess. Wait and see.
Throw the ball to Williams, Chargers. Throw
Yeah.
the ball to Williams.
See what you can do. So from there, I said that's the NFL. There's a couple other things coming out. They're still trying to figure out their whole COVID plan, what they're going to do for that. I'm pretty sure if they told all these people in the States that, hey, we're opening up the stadiums, who wants in? Everyone's saying, I'm in. Like they could do like half capacity. It doesn't matter.
They're talking masks and stuff, but honestly, I still kind of feel like they should not do that. Like let's, why not even go like 4 games and reassess the situation, before they do that? Because man, it's just not good in the States still right now in a lot of places. And even here in Canada, it's flared back up. Like people are in denial. It just doesn't go away.
No, that's kind of the way it works. So another update from last time we were talking, Washington. They're not picking a name right now, or at least doesn't seem like they're picking one. So for right now, they're just going to be known as the Washington Football Team. So
so horrible.
Taking a page
They
out
look
of
like
a soccer
people.
team.
If you've seen this, if you've seen their jerseys and shit, they're going with the same color scheme, basically the same jerseys and stuff. They're putting their numbers on their helmets and stuff, or at least that's what they showed so far.
Yeah.
And they look straight up like a college team. Like, for instance, let's just throw Alabama out there. They have their number on their helmets.
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? Like, what the hell? Like, be a little more, I don't even know, but this is just wrong.
What are you going to do, right? Like,
I can tell you one team that's not going to sell any jerseys this year. If you buy a Washington football team jersey, you need help. Because next year it's not going to be that. It'll have a logo of some sort. It'll have something on it. Yeah. And so, like, what are they doing in Washington?
You've known this has been coming for how many years, and you haven't taken any thought. Like, it's not like they've really put in the work. Like I said, even they've always been like met with scrutiny. Like I said, I mentioned it last episode. The Edmonton Eskimos, which are not Eskimos anymore, but at least they had talked to like the leaders and stuff, and they love it. I've talked to people that were big Edmonton Eskimo fans, and they said like they really did love the name. They love that they embraced the culture. They love that they did all this stuff, which is great. Washington was not that way. Washington was terrible. And so, Washington has known for like 20 years now that this name's going to have to change. You haven't thought ever what you're going to change the name to. You haven't even got a logo drafted up. And now I think it's got to the point. Yeah, it's Washington Football Club, which is just ridiculous. So, moving in from there, though, a team that did figure out their name, that is the Seattle Kraken, and that is the newest NHL team. That's the 32nd team in the league. They'll be entering for the 2022 year, starting next year. It's awesome. they had the big, they the day before they put a video up, and there was these fishermen out on a boat, and they pull in a goal siren, kind of like those Bud Light goal sirens, and then they, what's out in the water, oh, and then they let it, they stop it, they stop the video, and then the next day they release it, and here's the Kraken, and so they don't actually have. I was kind of worried because I heard all this stuff with the Kraken, which is fine. If anyone doesn't know what the Kraken is, it is this mythical squid like monster that destroys ships and stuff. It's big. It goes back.
Massive.
Yeah, it goes back years and years and years and years. This, I think, it even goes back to like mythological stuff, way back in the day. But that's how far back this Kraken thing goes. And I was worried. I'm like, oh my god, are they gonna put a squid on the jersey like this? Just 6, 8, 10, whatever the hell, how many tentacles those things have. What are they gonna do here? And I was like,
Go with
this.
eight.
Yeah, I was
Eight
like, this.
tentacles.
I was like, this is gonna look terrible. And nope, they went with a little more, subtle look. They just went with like an S, and it they when they kind of released it, they kind of just released it in parts. So they released the S, and then they had the tentacle go up through it, so it kind of has the bumps. And then they put some other lines in it, and then they put like a red eye at the top of the S, to kind of obviously signify like the Kraken's eye. And then their secondary logo is a anchor, and the top of the anchor is actually the Sky Needle, I think is what it's called in Seattle. So pretty good, reveal. Your colors,
Not bad at
you're
all.
talking about like a dark navy blue, and then like a kind of a tealy baby blue type of thing with a couple of red stripes. So it's a new team. It's exciting. I think Seattle, it's one of those cities that you're gonna have a lot of people too from like Vancouver and stuff, and it's a big tech sector, so you're gonna have a lot of people going from one to the other. It's a obviously a big thing. They're the 32nd team, so I don't think we're gonna see for a long time. I think this 32, I think that's all we're getting. That's it. That's all. Anybody, if any
Shut
teams,
her down.
yeah,
Shut her down.
if any team's getting, if anyone's going to get another team, it's going to be because of relocation, right? Whether it's a Carolina, whether it's a Florida, whether it's whoever, one of these teams that kind of flies under the radar and doesn't do as good, maybe they get switched over to, a Quebec, which I probably not.
Who
Right?
knows? Who knows?
Lots of options, but I just wanted to get Trevor's opinion. What did you think of the name? What did you think of the jersey? What do you think of the logos? What's your opinion?
Let me start at the. Actually, let's start with the logo. Actually, since you brought it up, so apparently Seattle back in the day, a long time ago, used to have a hockey team, and they did have a big S on their logo. So I thought that from a historical point, I actually love their creativity and bringing that back, and featuring that in their new jersey. I think that's really neat. I don't mind the logo, like Eric said. I think it's kind of neat. It's basically, like he said, it's an S. They've got basically one tentacle going up it, which is an interesting idea. The color scheme is pretty good. I prefer the white jersey, hands down. I don't know why. I just really like it. I like the majority white glove they had showed and stuff. But I really like the anchor too. I think it just works well with what they got going on there. Like you said, the promotion video, that was really neat. I don't know if Vegas did that, but maybe they did. But Vegas did so much promotion shit. It's kind of taking a page out of their book, which I like.
Vegas tried to do a video and it crashed on them. It was like a total
priceless
dumpster fire when they tried to do it. But anyways, continue.
Priceless. So I don't know. Like I said, I prefer the white jersey. I really don't mind the logo and stuff. I think it's great for hockey because, like Eric touched on it, Seattle is so close to Vancouver. Eventually, whenever they get good, there could be a really good rivalry there, which is priceless because everybody loves a good rivalry. Us and the Senators back in the day. Oh, now the Senators suck. But.
Well, yeah. Hey, guess what? Over the last 10 years, the Senators have made it way farther in the playoffs than the Maple Leafs. Let's put it that way. But really,
been out for the last 10 years. So you're right.
When you look at the Vancouver Canucks, they don't really have a big time rival. Like obviously you get the Battle of Alberta between Calgary and Edmonton. That's one big thing there. You go down through. There's lots of
Well,
teams that have lots of rival.
the only one they had, and it was only for a couple of years, was Chicago.
Yeah,
Because there
Chicago.
was epic playoff battles, but so many guys from both those teams, like basically both those teams rebuilt, or yeah, exactly, both rebuilt. So there's, especially in Vancouver, there's like barely. I don't even think there is anybody left over. So, but Chicago still got some of the boys because they were younger, but you know what I mean. It's like you said, there's fuck off a rivalry there, and that's huge.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
huge.
I don't know. If I don't think there'd be anybody left from those teams because that's so
Not on
long
Van,
ago.
anyways.
No,
Not on Van's team.
Obviously Chicago. You got some pretty big names that are still kicking
Taves and
around.
Kaner still there. Yeah,
Taves,
Sog's
Kaner,
back.
Seabrook, Keith, Crawford.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good list. But yeah, so like I said, it's like, to me, I think it's good. Like I said, the name, some people don't like it. Some people have made
They
jokes
don't like
about, they're gonna be called the crackheads, the fans, or they're gonna be, when they go to play there, you're gonna be opposing teams are gonna be going to the crack house to play.
it is what it is.
Some not so not so flattering names. You'd almost think that they think about this stuff, but it's so hard, right? No matter what you pick for a name, they're gonna figure out
You're
something.
gonna get criticized no matter what you pick.
Yeah,
Like the gold, like nobody liked Vegas's name, and it's kind of cheesy, and
but now they're one
everybody
of
loves
those.
Vegas.
Yeah, people love Vegas, love them. You think the
It's
Blues? You
ridiculous.
think the Blues would be a good name nowadays? No, everyone would be like, "What the hell are you doing?" The Wild, even the Avalanche, right? Like, I'm rocking the gear, but some people would probably say something about that. How dare you have something like the Avalanche as a name, right? Like, you can't make anybody happy. There's always gonna be something, right? So
Exactly.
this is going to be a good trivia question though one day, because you know how they always have those name a team that doesn't have name all the teams in sports that don't have an S at the end of the name. The Kraken have now been added to that list. They actually joined the Colorado Avalanche, the Tampa Bay Lightning, Minnesota Wild, but most of them are the Leafs, Canadians, Flyers, Bruins. They all have S's. This one's just added to the long list of teams that doesn't have that. We also are now, like I said, we're like a couple days away, like 5 days away from the start of the regular season. So we're getting there, Trevor. We're gonna have hockey back.
Super psyched.
Yeah.
Just pumped up.
Yeah, like what more can you ask for, right? Like it's gonna be obviously, right from the get go, the Leafs are, in a fight for their life. Which is obviously the big thing there. So wait to see what you guys can how you guys can muster it up. Obviously, some people are going to be worried. I think you guys are fine. I think, you don't have a whole lot to worry about when it comes to, the Blue Jackets. Obviously, they're a well-coached team. Tortorella is very smart. Get some hot goaltending, anything can happen. But I think you guys just have too much firepower for the Columbus Blue Jackets.
I hope so, man. They scare me a little bit, but like Toronto's due. They're due. We've been there. We're seasoned. They've lost two of their studs. I'm hoping this is the year.
Just praying.
Just praying and hoping.
And you guys got, these guys. You said you got the big names. You got the Marners. You got the Matthews. You've got the Tavares. You've got Tyson Berry, Jake Muzzin. Freddie back there in net. You have all these guys, and you should be able to make it work. So let's just hope that that's what you got, right? So it's but you guys are only starting on Sunday, so you guys are in the second day. You're with me, so you're on the good day. But we have on the first day we have the Rangers versus the Hurricanes. We get the Blackhawks versus the Oilers. We get the Panthers versus the Islanders. The Canadians versus the Penguins, and then the Jets versus the Flames. That's a schedule, man. Like that's no joke. Those are all good teams. Get nothing to scoff at there. And so out of those ones, what first day are you most excited for? Are you like the Rangers, Hurricanes, Blackhawks, Oilers, Panthers, Islanders, Penguins, Canadians, or the Jets and Flames?
I'm gonna go with there's two of them there. I'm gonna go with the Jets and Flames, and also I want to go with the Edmonton Oilers in Chicago because you get to see Taser and them. It's been a couple of years since they've been in the big show. We get to see Connor and Draisaitl, who's going to be the Hart Trophy winner. Damn well should be if he's not. Just throwing it. Did Nate get fucking?
Yeah, he got
Can't even
knocked out.
remember. Did he get? He did.
Yeah, yeah.
So, anyways, you're screwed, buddy. And well, he could win still.
Yeah,
We'll
you never
see.
know.
It'll be interesting,
Wait and see.
but it's gonna be exciting. And like you said, like the guys have had 4 months off, so a lot of guys that were nicked up or healed up. That's exciting. Guys got their so every team almost should be to their full strength. So we're gonna get everything they got, and it's just gonna be unreal.
Well, that's
It's
one of those
playoff
things.
hockey. I don't give a shit that nobody's in the fans. Or in the stands. Sorry, it's still gonna be outstanding.
Yeah,
So
and that's one of those things you look at. The Carolina Hurricanes. They have Dougie Hamilton. I think he broke a leg or something like that, or broke an arm. He was done for the season.
Like, it was nasty.
Yeah, he was done
nasty
for the
that he
season.
broke.
Well, that's before COVID hit, and now he's fully recovered, and he's going to be playing. That's a top pairing defenseman, top two pairing defenseman.
And they went out and got 2 more defensemen.
Yeah, so you got a lot of guys there. With that series, that's going to be the big. I guess the big one for that one is it should be, to me, I think it should be the Rangers that win that one. But the big story is who are they going to start in net? They got the king, more probably, if not, Mike Richter's obviously up there for goaltenders in Rangers history. And I'm sure there's some old guys that I don't know of because I'm not that well versed in 1950s goalies. But, Hank
Exactly.
is probably the, greatest goaltender in Rangers history. You got Alexander Gorgiev, I think is his name. He played when he was on this year. He was amazing. And then you have the new rookie, Shishkin. He comes in and he had a wicked season in the KHL last year. He had like 1.1 goals against average or whatever it was. He comes in this year and he starts lighting it up after he lit up the
dumbing the NHL. He's dumbing the NHL.
He's so good. So, you got 3 goalies. And do you go with the experience of the Hank that's been there before, even though he hasn't looked as good this year? He's obviously lost a glide or two, or do you go with one of the young guys, right? Shishkin's probably, if you just go by talent of who's the most talented right now, Shishkin's probably the guy, which I'm gonna have to really. I'm gonna have to learn that name. Trevor's gonna be. That's one of those names Trevor's gonna just love.
Just butcher. But I think the Russians got it. Like, I don't know. Like, I think Hank will start. Like, well, we'll see. I really think they go with the Russian though.
Yeah, Shishkin.
I really do think. Yeah, I think like he was just so good before the car accident.
Yeah. What's his name, Trevor?
I think Hank will Shishkin. I don't know. Sounds good to me, huh?
Yeah, it's good enough to me too.
If Eric can't get it, there's no way in hell I'm getting it. Let's just get that out there now.
That's what it is.
Well, I think we're both excited. The Rangers, the people don't give them enough credit. They're a young, fucking exciting team, man. They'll have I think they'll have Crowder back.
I think so. Yeah. I'm
not sure what he got hurt, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be back. And right before he got, well, actually, even during when he got hurt, but Mika Zibanejad, everybody forgets, but he lit the lamp the last 2 weeks before the NHL.
He was coming
push pause.
He was coming on strong there. Like I said, one of our first episodes was
had like 10 goals in like a week.
Yeah, one of our first pods. It was the story about who was going to win the Rocket Richard Trophy with the most goals at the end of the season, and we kind of threw him in there. He was back by a little bit, but if he had stayed on his same pace, there's a possibility he gets there, right? So, and that feels like forever ago that we had that pod, and then we talked about that stuff. Because it was before COVID, so that feels like 10 years ago at this point. But
so right before we leave that note, Ovi got robbed of a 50-goal season. Austin Matthews got robbed of a 50-goal season, and so did Pasta.
Yep,
it's too bad.
Hey, it's one of those things.
But it's gonna be a Rocket Trophy this year because I believe Ovi and Pasta tied.
I think so.
48, I think, and Austin had 47. So.
Nah, hey, look, sorry. He just wasn't good enough.
Crumbles.
Okay, just wasn't good enough. It's the same thing as I know we talk about the Wildcats once in a while, but Alexander Havanov, the big Russian for the Moncton Wildcats, he finished with 99 points. Just like, what's the chances, right? Like, you're, not that the 100 points matters, but it's just cool to see that it's 3 digits, not 2 digits when you're putting up the points, right? So, looking back,
bragging
he
rights.
actually, because of the NHL season, it's going to be starting so much later. Obviously the next year, going to be starting so much later. He actually signed with the KHL for next year, just the other day. So, congrats to him. But I agree too. Like I said, the Blackhawks Oilers series, that's going to be exciting. You got the flashy guys from five. I mean, Patrick Kane's still flashy, right? But you had the one of the most dominant
Yeah,
dynasties
dominant.
for a long time, and they're fighting against the new young guys, Draisaitl, McDavid. These are two of the most exciting two top 10 players in the league probably.
Trying to get that cup kind of remind me of Ovi and Crosby when when they were going for the first one and lost, and
Yeah,
also Taves and Kane
yeah,
when before they got it done, right?
yep.
So just some examples out there. I'm gonna throw it there,
Just
people.
just take some time. You get the Panthers,
Exactly.
it's Panthers and Islanders, so it's
That's gonna be exciting.
yeah, you have one team that plays a system lockdown, that they just don't try to let no
Wait for
shots
you to
on everything
fuck up.
else, and then you play against the Panthers who don't know how to play defense in their own end if their life depended on it. So it's two
Them and
totally
Toronto may as
different.
well be brothers
Oh my
when it
god,
comes
it's
to
just
that.
two totally different teams that are facing off. So it's be kind of cool to see what system wins. The Canadians are fighting against the Penguins. I don't think anybody gives the Canadians any shot in hell. You're talking, Carey Price getting hot. Maybe that's enough to elevate
Shea
them.
Weber doing his thing.
Shea
That's
Weber,
all it takes.
Brendan Gallagher, Max Domi.
Gallagher. Yep.
Domi's gonna play after he's obviously highly at risk with being diabetic. For him to play, that's a scary thing for him. But he's decided, look, I'm
It's huge for Montreal.
yeah.
Period.
But for
It's
them,
huge
yeah.
for your guys' chances.
Well, they just need the chance, right? So, um,
Exactly.
but yeah. So he said, look, I'm gonna come play. I can't leave the boys. The boys I gotta help the boys out. And then, but on the other side, you got Crosby, you got Malkin, you got all these guys, right? I think Gensel's back.
Rust, who's having a career year. Etzel, who was having a career year until
Yeah,
he got hurt as
yeah.
well.
So I think he's back now.
That's a perfect mix over there in Pittsburgh. Like just young talent and fucking two veterans that just know what they're doing out
You
there.
get
Just lead
another
by example.
goalie controversy because this is the same thing, right? We kind of
Who do you go with? Who do you give him the nod?
I'm gonna to me it's probably Tristan Jarry just because I don't think Matt Murray had a good enough season. I
I'd
know
like to
Trev,
see it.
I know, but it's just one of those things like a lot of these goalie situations they kind of get not always, but they kind of get figured out as the stretch down to the playoffs. Ride the hot hand or whoever.
Well, can
Well,
we not
what
agree
do you
though?
do after
Down
4
the
months?
stretch, they tried to give it to Murray, and
And
they
he
totally screwed Ajayi for a while. You could see he lost his confidence a little
yeah.
bit, and then they were kind of it was a rough patch for them. They couldn't win, and then they kind of got it together. But
It's,
what are you doing? Just because one guy's won you a cup, the other guy's out playing him. Play the guy who's winning the games. Come on, it's not rocket science.
nope.
Do you agree or
Exactly.
no?
Oh yeah, I'm with you. And then the final one is you have the Jets and the Flames. So that's another one. That's to me
I'm excited for that one.
that's one of the better series in the entire playoffs. These are two, hard hitting, well coached teams. They got a lot of stuff going for them, and they're both pretty evenly matched, right? They got both got the firepower. Hellbuck's obviously the better goaltender out of the two
It's
sides.
having a crazy year.
Yeah,
Up
so
with the Vesna.
yeah, and he should probably get it right. A lot of them obviously look at Vasilevsky and they look at who's the other guy? Vasilevsky and
Boston's goalie,
Rask.
Tuca.
Um,
Yep.
yeah, but to me, I think it's Hellbuck. I think he made more saves than anybody.
He
They
should
gave up
be.
more chances. They gave up more shots. Like he played the most games. To me, it should be Hellbuck. Wait to see what happens there.
Vasilevsky wasn't even in the conversation until they went on that crazy win streak,
Well,
and he
because they
pretty
were
much played every game,
the Tampa Bay as a whole was dog shit for the first like 20 games of the season or whatever the hell it was
if
before they
not
went.
more. Yeah, crazy.
So yeah, like I said, we'll move on from that. Like I said, that's the first round of games. We're gonna try to get another
Oh,
podcast in
before we
before.
before we leave that, are you excited though for the round robin games for like say your Boston, Colorado? I think that's kind of neat too because I know Boston. They might have been the first place team in the East. I can't remember. Don't
Yeah,
quote me on that, people.
yeah,
But
they
I
were.
really like the idea of them just. That's kind of neat. So like, let's say Toronto, Boston finished the second seed or third seed. Toronto won't have to play them, and I'm just Yeah, baby. I'm excited.
Trevor's,
Another team. I'm excited for Columbus because I'm just excited for another team besides Boston because they
yeah.
just wiped their ass with us the last couple of years.
You've been
Lord Thunder and
close. You've
Jesus.
been close to pulling it
Oh,
out. They
that's the
just
worst part though. I'd rather get blown out like 7-0. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or get swept than they're losing game seven so many times. And we've been up on them most of the time. Like last year was the first year that Boston had like three chances and scored, and Toronto played them the whole game but couldn't score. And that's ironic because that's all Toronto does is score. But anyways, that's how it goes. That's why we play the game. Shitty to be a Leaf fan, but if you're a Boston fan, you're just fucking loving life. Huh?
The whole Boston area has had way too good for way too long. We just need the air to come out of the balloon here anytime now. It's for any I think we're
From
all open for it at this point. So no, it's like I said, that's wait and see. Like I said, I'm excited for that. I said just to see the seeding go down. It's just good to see they're gonna beat the crap out of each other. That's the only thing. You could almost wish that these would be held, for later, but the guys got to get in game shape. They got to, start playing some hockey that matters. Does a round robin matter a whole lot? At some points, obviously it does, just for seeding and stuff. But it's not like you're getting home ice advantage or anything, because there isn't home ice advantage. So that's the only thing there. But like I said, I'm excited. I think we might do another pod later on this week, and we'll probably do our rundowns of our
hoping so.
more of a probably NHL focused pod at that point, and we'll just do our predictions on the series and whatnot, and just
On the play-in one, you mean? So like just like the Toronto, Chicago, like
yeah,
those.
we don't
That's
care
what you're
about
talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
we're not doing round robin. Who's gonna win
and then
that?
we'll do the next round once the seeds are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
once
for sure. That
everything's
sounds so
done.
much better.
Yeah, no, I said round robin. Like I said, I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see my team play, and not be eliminated by if they lose a couple of games here and there. Like I said, just see what the boys can kind of come up with. But I'm excited to see what we get out of all this. So, one place that we might not be seeing games for very much longer, and it's because they didn't do a bubble like the NHL or the NBA or the PLL, which we'll talk about later, and that is the MLB. For some reason, Rob Manfred, that stupid motherfucker, decided that it was a great idea if they just flew players all over the place. Yeah, what could
And
go wrong?
trainers and coaches and
Yeah,
so on and so on.
what could really go wrong with flying, entire teams and staffs and everything else, just from city to city to city to city to city, becoming in contact with other people in all these cities. What could possibly go wrong in that instant? Oh yeah, by the way, what could go wrong is something like the Florida Marlins team, having 14 players test positive for COVID, and then they knew about it, and then they didn't stop the game. So now they're worried that all the Philly players have COVID, which we'll probably find out tomorrow. And
For
wait
the
to see,
next couple of days.
yeah, and wait to see what happens there, because Florida is only the highest, you know, capita for COVID, I think, in in the world at this point. So yeah, I think we're gonna come to an end with baseball. I don't. I think they fucked themselves.
Don't say that because we just did fantasy and I am jacked. Love
Yeah.
my lineup.
Yeah, well, I, I'm telling you, that's the way it is. I had some pretty good guys too on my fantasy baseball. I know everyone loves fantasy talk. It's usually not the most exciting thing. We'll probably get into it when it comes to, because it's hard. It's hard with a lot of fantasy
Defending
talk.
champ, bitches. Defending champ. Been to the big game 2 years in a row. You're looking at it.
It's
You're
it.
looking at it. Look at this. I'm trying to dynasty. I'm
Oh
picking
my god,
dynasty.
look at him go.
I
He's.
need to win this year.
It's
Look
hard to
at
get. It's hard to talk about fantasy baseball and hockey and stuff with other people, because it's like, oh yeah, your lineups. Fantasy football, where it's like so like these are your only positions, it's a little easier to talk about it. So a lot more people will, kind of follow that. So I think we'll talk about a little bit of fantasy football when it comes to the time. But yeah, so I just want to get your opinion, Trevor, on, do you think now that everything's happened, all these tests come out, all this comes out positive, do you think baseball is going to be done? Because right now the Marlins can't play for 14 days. That's 2 weeks
it.
that
And
they put
the
behind.
which is crazy. So like my first thought is so okay. So like you said, they Philly, they're worried about Philly, so they canceled the game against New York that was due today. My first thought is, okay, so you postpone some games here. That's a huge problem. Like, when are they going to make these games up? Did they plan for this beforehand? If something was an outbreak like this, get what I mean? They only get such a timeline to get these games in, and then they got to start a playoff. So it's like you said, how are they going to make this happen? Like, so every other team is continuing playing. The Blue Jays played Washington today. I know that because I like both
Yep.
teams. So I'm a Jays fan. Just gonna throw that out there. Good job, Jays. 4-1 win.
Yep.
But like you said, they're gonna run out of time. It's winter's gonna come. Like it's very interesting.
Yeah,
But in
this isn't a
MLB
rain
too,
date.
like I don't even know what you like. I don't know. Like they're kind of screwed here for a bit, like you said, because you can't even call players up because you don't know half the other guys are infected. You can't even call that many players up to begin with.
No, and
So it's never been done before, not to my knowledge. So
no, and you're not talking about a situation where you're just talking about, oh, well, we'll just, it's a rain date. We'll just do a double header one day or something like that. No, no, you're now off for 2 full freaking weeks while these guys have to quarantine. And hopefully the Phillies don't get it because now you're putting their schedule back 2 weeks, which obviously puts all these other teams back 2 weeks. And then you're talking,
exactly.
you just go back and forth, and and next time you have anybody going into Florida, what happens there. From the get go, baseball has had no idea. They were kind of in denial. They're gonna still play, and then they finally decided, well, screw it. We've waited so long to try to figure anything out that we're just going to do a shortened season. We'll just see how that goes. We'll just, shorten it down to 60 games and see how that goes. And then you get this, and now you have everything pushed back. So 60 games is only 2 months, by the way. Maybe you give a little time, 2.5 months type of thing with, days off and everything else. But it's 2.5 months before the playoffs are probably, supposed to start here. And you have no idea what you're going to do. And it's, to be honest, it's kind of good for the NFL because at least the NFL can kind of look at this and be like, oh, so we shouldn't do that, or we can do that. And maybe it's better in a couple months, but even that's about to kick off.
Well, the NFL is talking about making mask mandatory for fans and all this shit. Are you kidding me? You're thinking you're gonna have fans right now, and you're kidding yourself. Like, let's be serious. Like, I will be surprised after this playoff happens in the NHL and NBA and all this shit here, if fans are in the stands in the next following season. I'm thinking maybe best case scenario, the following year, 2021, we go back to some normalcy. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I
Like, I'm
think,
thinking they're just jumping the gun here.
yeah, it's hard because you don't know, and I agree. I look at it in both ways, and this is coming from a guy that I've been able to kind of work through a lot of stuff and everything else, and I would have loved to watch our hockey team, our local hockey team, do stuff in the playoffs and everything else. And the problem is at some point we all do have to come out of our bubble, right? We all do have to come out
For sure.
and live our lives. And at what point is that point? We don't know. I feel like America and all them, football is life,
Like,
right? It was at one point in time, it was baseball. Baseball was America's game. It's a beautiful game. Everything else, you talk about it, and now it's become football with tailgating and beer and people that are very conservative. A lot of them, not all of them, but we have a lot of conservative people, which I always say to everybody this.
oh,
Trevor and I probably have
speak,
more conservative views than liberal views, but we also have a mind, so we don't always agree with everything that's supposed to be
like,
conservative.
like they're doing in baseball right now,
Yeah,
where extra innings, they put a person on second base.
yeah, it's stupid. So, but
No,
going
get
through all this
fucking
stuff,
rid of it. That's what I
yes.
say. It's
So
bullshit.
I don't think you're gonna. I know people here, in Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada, and they're, fuck that. I'm not. If a store wants me to wear a mask, I'm not wearing a mask. I won't shop there. I'll turn around and walk away. You think these football fans are going to wear a mask the whole time, and then you're going to have security guards that have to try to force them as they've been drinking or as they just want to get rowdy, and no, it's
How
going
do
to
you
be
even drink with a mask on?
it'd be a shit show. It's an absolute.
Yeah.
If you're going to have it, you can't have fans. Put them in wherever. The thing
No.
is you
On the
can.
business side, I totally understand why they want to do it. Like we just talked about beer revenue. So you got people in the stands. There's money. Like you
You're
always go to
talking. You're
a
talking
game, you
about.
get a burger, you get a dog, or
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You're talking
Just
about
anything,
$15.
popcorn.
You're talking
You know what I
about
mean? Like so
$15
they're gonna
beers.
lose some revenue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're talking about
But
$15
I'm just
beers that
thinking
cost
like
like
for the
$3.
well-being of the sport. Like if you're a loyal fan, you will watch it. You'll watch it on TV, and maybe it's a year. Then we're out of this situation. But or they get a vaccine that actually works and they get it figured out. But it's not the end of the world. So it's
No, and
horrible though.
it's odd. I think baseball has this weird thing where I think they're trying to pump in crowd noise and stuff like that. Just don't. Just know what you want to do, and we'll get into this very shortly. But the PLL is doing it right. They have guys mic'd up nonstop. They're going into the benches and talking to guys like, "Oh, what did you see there? What did you think?" And they're going off, and it's great. And it's you hear more of the game. Yeah, once in a while they have to probably have it on a 5 second delay, and once in a while they have to hit that button that says mute.
That'd be a lot. Like, can you imagine? They're talking about the NHL, is talking about doing that with the NHL, and I absolutely hate it with the players
Yeah,
because if you haven't played the game, people, there is a lot of swearing and chirping going on, and things are said within the game.
yeah.
But people take that out of context. Like,
Oh,
the minute me and Eric could hate each other, we're good, like best buddies.
yeah.
When we're not on the ice, but when we're on the ice, we're just giving it to each other. Like, yeah, like something your mom. You know what I mean? You shouldn't talk about other people's mom, but I'm just saying
she
he,
crossed
he
the
could chirp my
line.
mom, I could chirp his mom. You know how it goes.
I would never
But at the
chirp
end of the
Paulette.
day, that's just all in the heat of the battle. When the game's over, we're all good. It's a high five, or actually, it's social distancing. So it'd be like
Look, I don't care
you
what you
know,
do. If they don't have the handshake line at the end of it, at the end of every round, I'm going to be writing a long complaint to the NHL because you just let these guys beat the shit out of each other and hit each other and literally breathe on each other nonstop for 60 minutes for 7 games, and you're not going to allow them to shake hands at the end of it. Get out of here.
well,
I'm done.
just think of the like two guys taking the face off. Like they're
Your heads are
practically on top. Yeah, they're
yes.
practically on top of each other. So like, there's no social distancing there.
No,
But,
it's
but
no,
anyway, see,
it's
I
one of
think
those
I
things.
think you hit it on the nail with MLB. Like, I know a lot of teams' facilities are like so. Like for spring training are in Florida, which is unfortunately Florida is so bad because like what I've understood and heard and read is that they're basically open for business. They're
Oh
not
yeah,
enforcing masks and
they
all
have been
this,
since
and
like the
it's just
start.
spreading like wildfire. Yeah, so
They
they've
had
never closed anything down and
no,
stuff.
they had the
So
beaches
what do you
open like
expect?
2 weeks after the COVID hit. They're like, yeah, let's just have beaches. Anybody wants to hit up the beach? It's a beautiful day out here in southern Florida, and they're like, everyone's else is like, what? Why are there beaches that are literally loaded with people? And it's like you said, I think we may have mentioned this before. There's some people that they've got it. They said Von Miller got it. He's kind of still saying that like he's not back to 100. You can tell. And like I said, we don't really know the long-term effects. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's maybe a lot of people are blowing this out. I don't really know which way to go on the whole situation. Not gonna lie to you. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an expert on this shit. I'm a guy that sells houses, used to run heavy equipment, sold car parts, drove a tow truck. I did a lot of things. Doctor has not been one of the jobs I've owned or been had there. So I don't know what to do about all this stuff. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I'm not the expert. I know there's a guy in the lacrosse. His name is Jules Heddenberg, and he actually had COVID at one point. He got tested before the season, before this little championship series they got going on for the next 2 weeks, and he actually pulled out because they think because he had it, there could be issues with his heart and a bunch of other stuff that like he's now so he's got to kind of work himself
Side
back.
effects kind of thing.
Yeah, he's kind of got to work himself back to, playing condition, I guess, with a lot of other stuff. So he actually pulled right out of the tournament. Said like, look, I'm not going to take a roster spot. Obviously every roster spot's important. Especially in a short tournament where you're playing, a lot. So he pulled himself out.
Especially if it's gonna hurt yourself health wise, like like you just said, that's gonna be first and foremost. To
Yeah,
get
and that
back
was
to make sure you're right. Yeah,
yeah, and it was huge. Like I
I
said,
totally agree with this
and this
decision.
this is like one of the top, players in this entire league. You know, he was
So
one of the
one of
best
the
players.
premier guys. Okay.
Yeah, and he had to pull out. You know, it's not because he wants to. You know, he'd love to win there. You know, him and his team went to the finals last year. They lost in overtime. You know, you don't think that guy wants to come back this year and prove everybody wrong and win that championship? Yeah, of course the guy does.
Chip on the shoulder,
But,
people.
you know, he didn't get the chance. He's not going to get the chance to
Friggin'
do it.
right.
So, you know, you just don't know what's going to happen with all this stuff. You don't know what's going to happen with any of these tests. And if somebody tests positive, what could that have for a long term effect? If they get sick and they have issues, how does the health, you know, especially for an NFL contracts don't mean fuck all. You know what I mean? Like they just cut people left, right, and center. It's not like the NHL. Like the NFL's got it completely wrong because in the NFL, you sign a contract and yes, it's guaranteed, and then they just cut you because they don't give a shit. They're just like, fuck you, bye, you're gone, go away.
Yeah.
We we made a mistake because we signed you to a 5-year contract, and now we're 2 years into it, and you know you can't play, you're not good anymore, so now we're gonna get rid of you. You know, in the NHL, you sign a contract and that's your contract. You know, that's why the Leafs
You
have
own it.
taken on how many contracts now of
We're getting draft
guys
picks out
that
of it, so be quiet.
yeah, well, guys that they, you know, because they make so much more money, but they can take players from a Columbus and all these other places where they can, you know, put the guy in long-term IR. He doesn't count against the cap, but you still have to pay the guy, but it doesn't count against the cap, and that's kind of the way to do it. But you know, in the NFL, if one of these guys gets COVID, say, and now his health is bad, and now he, you know, he doesn't have the same motor as he had before because, you know, something in his lungs is you know tarnished and
So
he's hurt and it has long-term effects. Well, what are they going to do for that, right? Are they going to come back and pay that guy extra money? It's a whole lot of questions that we don't have answers
does
to.
insurance cover it? Who even
Does
knows?
insurance cover it? Does it? Is it, you know, like I said, some of these players, they could be making, like I said, Miles Garrett just signed for 5 years, 125 million. You know, what happens if that's Nick Chubb from the Broncos, who, you know, he's only going into his second year? You know, what happens if that guy gets it and he can't compete? And now, you know, maybe he doesn't even make it to his second contract because he can't perform as well anymore. Nobody wants to take a chance on him. And now he's possibly lost out on 5 years for 125 million. You know, just a small little chump change. You know, that's Trevor Ward money right there. But for a lot of people, that's you know, that's a lot more money.
I wish.
But
I
yeah, so
wish.
like I said, wait to see what happens. Like I said, once again, we're not doctors. We're two rednecks from Eastern Canada that like to talk
Love sports.
They said,
It must.
and
Cares.
we just want to see them. Yeah, we just want to see sports happen in the safest way possible, where they can actually finish. Unlike Major League Baseball, because that's going to end here in about 3 or 4 days, I'm sure. So, I said the other sport that is currently going on, and they're not going to get shut down, like the MLB, is the PLL. They are in Salt Lake City, Utah, actually, I think just south of it. And they are essentially doing a dome. So they have all these guys. They're all, you know, in this little city. They're playing games. They're obviously a lot, you know, they have a lot less issues. You know, they only have 7 teams in total in this entire league. They're doing it
Which
over
is
2 weeks.
convenient.
Yeah, exactly. So you have all this stuff. They had 0 tests positive. They're in a place that I think has low cases already in Utah. So you're not talking about a high populated area like in New York. Like, you know, they weren't saying like, well, we're going to go to
Like a major
Disneyland.
time city. Yep. I
Yeah.
like it.
And they're going to, you know, they went back and forth about all this stuff. And they're now 3 games into it. They had, or sorry, 4 games into it because they had 3 games on the weekend. And then they had, you know, they had another game tonight. There's supposed to be 2, but one got delayed because of thunder showers and stuff. So they pushed it back till Wednesday. But if you want to hear some chirps, ladies and gentlemen, and if you watch me on social media, you've definitely seen this. Go watch some of the highlights. The PLL has a daily vlog and stuff. And these guys and their chirps are next level. They don't hold back. Like Trevor said before, like, you know, talking with mothers. Oh no, they don't care. This one guy, his name is Matt
No mercy.
Cadet. And this guy I laughed the entire time. I sent everybody Snapchats of it. I sent everybody videos. I've been tagging people in the shit. He's sitting there roasting the other goalie because they went on a run and they were down. And then they're like, he's like, Blaze. And the goalie's name is Blaze Reardon. Blaze, pull yourself. Blaze, get out of there. Do the team a favor. pull yourself. You're garbage. You're
No
terrible.
mercy.
He's just not like, you don't see that kind of stuff in the NHL. Like, it just doesn't happen.
No mercy.
These guys don't care. He's just telling them, Blaze, where are you? We can't even see you in there. Like, we're just chirping him. And so he's going, and then he's got this cackle. And it is like, I don't even know how to explain it. It's like, it's next level. It's just this laugh, and it's terrible, but it's great all at the same time. And he's laughing and laughing and
Priceless.
laughing. And then they're interviewing him afterwards and said, "Oh, you know, Matt, because they have all the mics and stuff in the helmets, and they're like, Matt, we see you're kind of being hard on Blaze there," and he's standing directly beside the goalie because he's waiting for the face off and stuff. And he's like, "Yeah, well, you know what? He's just not good. He's just, but we're not really surprised." He's like, it's just next level. And like I said, if anyone's never watched lacrosse, which a lot of you probably haven't, I've never really watched. I played box lacrosse and I watched box lacrosse back in the day. I've never really watched field lacrosse. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I love lacrosse as a sport. The field game just wasn't something that ever was around here when me and Trevor were growing up. Now they have a bunch of high school teams. Pretty much every high school has a team now. McNaughton, Tremble, all of them. They all have teams. But this is like, the highest level. Lacrosse, they're out here. They're just whipping the ball around. They're just playing like madmen. And there is some highlights. I watched, it was 2 days ago. There's two back-to-back, like two behind-the-back passes. And then Buddy passes in the front. And the guy does a little shift move. Curtis Dixon, and he puts it in. It's just been one goal after the next. Big saves, big hits, big goals, and it's just exciting. And like I said, to see that they're doing it properly, just a bubble, and they've even came out and admit, right, like it's easier for them as a team, as a league with 7 teams. They only have 300 personnel, including their media people, their trainers, coaches, players. There's football. You can't even have a conference in a football team, right? Between all the coaches and stuff. You put the AFC West in there, they're going to have over 300 people. So, they just have that luxury to have it. And if anybody wants to, I don't know how often they're going to be doing games on NBC. I know they do have NBC for a couple games. You could always take a look and check. There's also the NBC Gold. If anybody's wondering, if you want to take a look, I will lend you my account. You can take a look at some of the games if you're just wondering to kind of check it out. Just send me a message. Ooh, I'm fancy. I just want to be able to access it. Just send me a DM. Just slide in those DMs, yo. And we'll go from there. Like I said, I want to get the sport out to as many people as possible. I love it. It's exciting, and you'd never know by the production quality of this too, that it's the 5th or 6th, major sport in the North America when it comes to viewing, right? So, and like I said, to see the way they do it, they do a lot of, it's a lot of, you can hear everything on the field. You can hear the guys talking. Like I said, yes, they blur it out once in a while because you have to, but you have a lot of stuff. And like I said, they have the mics in the helmet, so they're, calling down to guys all the time, micing them up. Hey, what'd you see here? What'd you see there? And they're talking about it. And it's kind of, I think that's a good way for the other sports. I think they should look at it and say, oh, sweet, they actually did that. Well, let's try to do that once in a while, right? Because you don't have the stuff in between periods, right?
They don't have that in hockey, but in football they do mic up certain guys. Yeah, it's kind of neat.
But these are like the announcers are talking to them, like between, it's one of those things you can get guys.
They do it in NASCAR too.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's you're not going to be panning across the crowds, right? You're not going to be looking at random stuff. You got to find these time killers that you don't realize that how much of a hockey game, when you're watching it on TV, is literally them just panning the course, the hallways and the stands and everything else. That's a lot of the game that you watch, right? So you got to find a filler for all this stuff. And I said, I think a lot of them should look at the PLL because I think they have done a really good job at it. I think that's it. I don't really have anything else. Like I said, we're coming into hockey. We're coming into, I guess we get basketball. That's back. It doesn't feel like basketball yet. Maybe it's because it's still.
No, because the games aren't meaningful yet.
They're just,
Exactly.
It's just games. We could talk about quickly Lou Williams, that stupid motherfucker.
Well, I
Leaves
saw something. I didn't see
leaves
exactly what
the
happened.
bubble to go to a. I shouldn't be put air quotes there, but he leaves the bubble to go to a funeral. This is apparently a good friend of his grandfather. I've seen some people saying, "Well, it's just a friend's grandfather. That's not even important." You never know. That man could have been like a grandfather or father to him, right? You can't decide just because it's a
Exactly.
friend's grandfather how much of an impact that guy made on his life. The issue, though, is that he went to a strip club while he was out of the
Oh,
bubble.
that's a great decision. Great decision.
like, and then he says to somebody that he went there for the chicken wings. What are you doing? You'd go.
We know what kind of chicken wings you were looking for, son. Come on.
He was looking for the drumsticks, I think, or at least looking to. Anyways, we're not gonna get into that. But
yeah, we're not gonna get into that.
But I don't know if he was going for the white meat or the dark meat, but we're gonna. Anyways,
Doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter.
So he was. I said, just this is the stupid shit, and you've heard it from the NBA bubble already, And not to say that other sports aren't like this too, right? Hockey players are notorious for being horn dogs, then whatever, that's fine. But so far you've had an NBA player that tried to order takeout into the bubble. That didn't work, by the way. Not allowed doing that. You had one guy sliding into the DMs of some Instagram model or whatever you want to call her, some good-looking girl on Instagram. He was sliding into her DMs, trying to sneak her into the bubble. And now you have Lou Williams, who went out of the bubble and then went directly to a strip club. Like, you can't make this shit up. Like, how are these people the stupidest motherfuckers alive? I think if it was me, I would just kick them out of the. You're done. You're not coming back in the bubble. Yeah, you're done. You want to be stupid like that? No, you don't get the chance. You
explain that to your teammates, homie.
Yeah, you put this whole, playoffs in jeopardy potentially because you're going to be selfish and go to a strip club. Like, also, let's be honest here, strip clubs aren't even that great. Just gonna put that out there. You're paying a lot of money.
Overrated. Drinks are too expensive.
Oh, that's everything. I've never
understood. Not that I've been to one.
I've been to one and it was
an angel.
Terrible. Angie's.
We're not going into that either.
That was a bachelor party gone wrong right there. We were like 90% of the way
comment.
out. We were like almost done the bachelor party, and then somebody mentioned the Rippers. Somebody said, "Oh, like I think this is the first bachelor party I've ever been to that we didn't go to the Rippers." And one of the guys, his cousin, heard the word Rippers, and you could tell he was waiting to hear that word all day long because he's like, "Rippers, Rippers, Rippers, gone." Yep, called the cab, but there we go. Anyways, not a time. Would not recommend it at all. It's just not good. And for some reason, Lou Williams decided to take a chance of ending the NBA playoffs to go to the Rippers for some chicken wings. You can't make this shit up. I swear to you, you can't. So I said we'll find out in the coming.
Must be some good chicken wings. Salt and pepper, boy.
We worked with a guy that he. Did you work with that guy? Or just rambling at this point, but he was literally in love with the stripper. Did you work? I can't remember his name. Buddy?
Will?
No, not Willard. Oh my God. No, there's another guy. Who is his name?
I can't believe I just dropped him on the fucking pad.
Yeah, we went from name dropping Cody Bowman every episode. Shout out Cody Bowman to name dropping fucking Willard. What a guy and an idiot.
They don't even compare.
If BK's listening to this, that guy was an idiot. But anyways, so we're gonna end that. Like I said, if you haven't yet, go check out the PLL. Like I said, they're playing right now. They're the only games that really matter at this point. Like I said, it's only a 2-week tournament. It's lots of stuff. You can go on YouTube. They have the daily vlogs, which is the up close and personal. It's a guy named RJ who does it. It's great content. Like I said, some wicked goals, everything else. And like I said, we're going to get into hockey. Like I said, probably going to record another episode. Probably just be a highlight on just the elimination round, the not the round robins. The play-in rounds will probably highlight that. And if there's any other news here and there, football, another signing, trades, whatever it may be. And
we're going to keep you up to date.
Yeah, and if you haven't yet, go like Instagram, go like the Facebook, go
give us a like.
YouTube, I guess. I've been putting up on YouTube too. You can watch all this in action. You can watch me like air quotes 4,000 fucking times throughout the entire episode because that's what I do.
We're tired. Give us a comment, positive or negative. Just give us some feedback. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, or just give us positive thoughts. That's nice too. Everybody likes to get a compliment. So, like look at Eric's hair. It looks lovely.
Thank you. Shout out to Dom at Handsome Devils. Yeah, I needed one.
There you go.
Right to the point, but now I'm pretty good right now. I got it down last Thursday.
So pretty spiffy. I'm starting to go back to the other way, the old scruff look. You guys are looking, if you're in the Moncton area and you guys are looking to buy a house or you're looking to sell a house,
this guy.
Look no further than Eric Murray. He's excellent. I got my place from him, so just shout out to him. He works hours and hours and hours. He'll find you your dream house, or he'll sell you that house you grown out of, or you're moving on, or maybe you're just looking for a change.
The funniest thing I always
look no further than Eric Murray. You can find him on Instagram,
Facebook, everything. Eric Murray Realtor, Eric Murray Real Estate on Facebook. The funniest thing I always get is when people ask me, they're like, "Oh, like when do you work? Like what do you work evenings?" I'm like, I get home at like 9, 10 o'clock most nights from showings. So that's the honest truth. I went to go look at a house tonight to price out. I got there at 7:30. I left there at like 8:30. Had to go take some pictures of another house I have listed, some updated ones. Put a new price sign, everything. I got home, it was like 9:15, 9:20 by the time I got home. Like that's just
there you go, people.
And then
he's dedicated. And
then I'm up in the morning.
He'll probably pick up still.
I will. Then I'm sitting there getting up early in the morning after Trevor makes me record a podcast until 2:12 at night. Anyways, we just rambled on for the last like 20 minutes.
Look at the bags on Trevor's eyes. Look at this.
How that man is single, we will never know.
I know, I'm a beauty. I am a beauty.
So anyways,
I don't have so many grays. It's a good question.
It's a
mystery.
I'm getting a whole lot. They're everywhere. So it's not good. It looks good in this light because you can't really see. Looking good.
Revenge of the Grays.
It's terrible. So anyways, for Eric and for Trevor, we're going to be signing off. Have a good night, guys.
Have a great evening, guys.